Hey guys, and welcome back to r/EntitledPeople. Let's get right into it. A wild Karen and Karen Jr. encounter. So this just happened and I'm still shaking my head. For some context, I'm autistic and really don't handle confrontation well. However, I'm currently training my border collie, Storm, to be a psychiatric assistance animal. We are so very close to him being fully certified. But for the moment, our trainer and I organized passes for us both to go to buildings, planes, trains, etc., so I can expose him to different environments, sounds, smells, etc. Today we were getting on a train to the city, an hour and 15-minute ride. We got on at the front next to the guard, showed him the approval letter stating Storm is in training, and all was good. We boarded, and Storm laid under my legs, taking up minimal room, as per his training. We get to the first stop, and in comes Karen and her younger daughter, Karen Jr. They both sit on the other side of the aisle, next to me. After a few minutes, Karen Jr. notices Storm laying under my legs, and says to her mom, "Mom, that man has a dog, can I pat it?" And she replies with something along the lines of, "Just ask." But I can't be 100% certain, as I wasn't actively paying attention. Next thing I know, I hear, "Excuse me," from Karen Jr., and the following conversation ensues. "Could I pat your dog?" said Karen Jr. "No, sorry, he's currently training and can't be pet," I said. "What do you mean he's training?" "He's training to be an assistance animal, and it's very important that no one interferes with him," I said. "Come back, sweetie. Unfortunately, some people don't know how to share," said Karen. I tried to remain calm, but Storm instantly knew my anxiety was flaring up, so he got up and comforted me, as he is trained to do. I reward him with a treat, a good boy, and finally the lay command. At which point, the Karen approached us. "You should be teaching him to interact with children. My daughter just wanted to give him a pat, and you rewarding him for ignoring her is just plain rude," said Karen. "Excuse me? He's working and currently in training. I rewarded him for responding to me appropriately, not for ignoring your kid. Leave us alone, please." "You're lying. He's not a Labrador. They're the only dogs that are smart enough to become assistance animals. He looks like a border collie. They are just farm dogs, so quit lying." At this, my anxiety was starting to peak, and Storm got up and sat on my lap to comfort and calm me down. I reached for my treats pouch and began to get a treat out, when Karen reached in and took a treat before me, handing it to Storm. "Good boy," said Karen. "Get away from me," I screamed and began crying. The train came to an unscheduled stop at the next station, and a group of police officers got on. Karen and Karen Jr. were moved to the next carriage, and we continued on, with an officer staying with me until the next station. Fast forward to the end of the line, and we got into the city. As I was talking to the guard, who had actually organized for the police to join us, Karen Jr. ran up to us, and just as I saw her reach out and down, I gave Storm the command, "Other side." He swiftly moved behind and to the left side, away from her. "I told you no," I said. "My mom said I could, so let me." With that, she tried to pull his leash out of my hand. I dropped the lead and gave Storm the command, "Danger," to which he ran and sat under a seat in the middle of the platform. Karen then enters, pushing me on the shoulder, and by this stage, my fight-or-flight response was the only thing in control, and I pushed her back, knocking her to the ground. More police were on the platform in what felt like seconds. I called for Storm as they arrived, handed them his paperwork, and told them everything that had happened. I'm now writing this from inside a police station while waiting to do a victim impact statement. The Karen got arrested for assault and interfering with the service animal. Honestly, what is it about these types of people that assume any dog in public is obligated to be a petting zoo animal? The Karen even told OP you should be teaching your dog how to interact with children. It's like, says who? Not every dog in existence is meant to be a toy for your kid. Instead, it would probably be better if she taught her kid that not every dog is meant to be played with, especially random dogs you see in public. Punch a cop because your kid can go wherever he wants. I worked overnight at a 24-hour truck stop restaurant attached to a motel in a small town when I was 19. There was a massive, unrelenting heat wave. It was about 45 Celsius during the day and about 35 Celsius at night. I don't understand Fahrenheit, so like 98 to 110-ish? By the way, it's 113. Anyway, it was about 3 a.m. on a Wednesday, and the restaurant was full of people that just wanted to take advantage of the air conditioning, and I honestly didn't care. The restaurant was falling apart and was basically a giant safety hazard. The serving line, Its a row with equipment, knives, dirty dishes, sinks, etc. was especially bad. Puddles of water, exposed wires, and a pack of razor blades for the box cutters. Anyway, I'm honestly surprised more employees didn't get injured. So in walks entitled mom with her husband and 2 kids. I seat them at a table, bring them some menus, and take their drink order. I give them their drinks and then go around to check on the other tables. Most people were asleep. There were a ton of kids, all asleep. I go back to my line to refill some drinks, and there's a random child, a little boy around 3, running through my line. I pick up the kid and put him down outside the line and tell him that he can't be back there. He seems to get it and runs off. I drop off the refill in another table, and the same kid is back in my line, and he has one of the knives in his hand. Super dull, but still a knife. I grab the kid, take the knife out of his hand, and tell him that he cannot be back there, and I don't want him to get hurt. I start looking for his parent, and I can't remember which table he was from. I put him down and watched which table he went back to. It was entitled mom. Not wanting to start anything, I decide to just drop it. I move the knives to a top shelf and move the box cutter. I drop some food off at a table, come back, and the kid is in my line again. This is the 3rd time in like 2 or 3 minutes. I pick up the kid and I head over to entitled mom's table. I plop the kid down in the seat and say, "Here you go, little buddy," as I put the kid down. I'm sorry, but your son keeps wandering into the service line. It's super dangerous back there. Please make sure he knows he can't do that. I don't want anyone to get hurt," I said. "What are you talking about? It's a restaurant. He can go wherever he wants," said the mom. "I'm okay with him running around, just not back there," pointing at the service line. "There are dirty dishes and knives and plenty other super dangerous things. Please keep him out of there," I said. "How dare you tell me how to be a parent?" "I'm doing no such thing. He simply cannot go back there." "He can go wherever he wants. Where is your manager?" "My manager isn't here at the moment. Please feel free to call during the day and make a complaint, but..." She interrupts me, screaming at the top of her lungs about how she's going to get me fired and how rude I am, etc. At this point, the entire restaurant is awake and staring. In my scary, calm voice that has been honed over 3 years in customer service, I say, "Mrs., you have until the count of 3 to stop yelling at me, or I'm going to have to ask you to leave." More screaming. Something about how I can't treat people this way or something. 1, I say. Screaming from entitled mom. 2, I say. Even more screaming. The kind that makes their neck go all red and that singular pulsing vein appear on their forehead. 3, you may leave now. "You can't kick us out," said the mom. "Yes, I can. I've asked you to leave. If you don't, I will call the police." "I am not leaving. Call them. Call the cops." I pull out my phone and dial the personal phone number of one of the cops on duty. I had to call the cops multiple times a night, almost every night. The cops knew me very well because there was no non-emergency line at 3 a.m., and the 911 operators were in a city 7 hours away. The cops gave me their numbers. "You're not really calling the cops, you effing liar," the mom said to me while I'm on the phone with the cops. The cops showed up in about 1 minute. Very small town, they must have been just down the street. Cop 1 gets in between entitled mom and I, and Cop 2 pulls me aside to ask what's going on. I tell Cop 2 everything, and he said he'd take care of it. Entitled mom is screaming at the cops about how I'm a terrible person, and I was screaming at her and that I assaulted her child. They start trying to move her towards the exit while trying to calm her down. She runs around them and gets right in my face, screaming about how I'm going to regret this, and that I'm going to go to jail for assaulting her kid. I stay completely silent, as I'm pretty used to getting screamed at, and generally by way scarier people than Karen here. Cop 1 gets in between us again, and gently touches entitled mom's forearm to move her acrylic gel nails out of my face, and entitled mom backs up and punches the cop right in the face. Cop 2 tackles her to the ground and immediately handcuffs her and drags her out of the restaurant, screaming at the top of her lungs. She punched a f***ing cop, you guys. A cop. So what would have been a talking to in a parking lot and then an angry phone call to my manager in the morning led to prison time. What the hell? P.S. The dad was there but didn't say a single word the entire time. Everyone else in the restaurant just watched. You know, all the craziness aside, I do wonder what families like this are doing in a truck stop restaurant at 3 a.m. and why so many of them are sleeping in there too. Maybe they're just on a road trip or something, I have no idea, but it is a bit weird. My mother poisoned a dog and then took my phone away for protesting. So this happened a few years back when I was 14. Our entire family was going on a holiday trip by car. On the way there, next to the highway, there was a stray dog. My mom decided that she wanted to feed him, but the only problem was that we only had chocolate cookies and a chocolate tablet as food for the trip. Me and my sister tried to keep her from getting to the food, but she dug her nails into my skin and snatched the cookies. While she was doing that, we were screaming, "Don't feed the dog chocolate, it's going to make him sick." And she just kept insisting that stray dogs eat everything and are super resilient, and that chocolate is only bad for house dogs. She finally fed the cookies to the dog, then the tablet. She then proceeded to take away our phones for being angry at her. We started crying while our mom just laughed at us. On the entire ride to the destination, she played children's songs about dogs just to taunt us. She still insists that she was right and that we didn't want to give the cookies because we were greedy and didn't want to share. Edit. A lot of people wrote in the comments that dogs don't always die from chocolate. I know that, having looked it up after the incident, and that's why I avoided the use of killed. This still doesn't excuse her actions. Yeah, just because something won't necessarily kill them doesn't mean it's not toxic. Drinking a small amount of bleach might not necessarily kill you either, but that doesn't mean it's not bad for you. Just leave it to the people of Reddit to come up with that kind of logic. Mother let her child pee in the middle of the store. I'm walking through Target picking up a few things. I head to the sporting goods section to pick up an air mattress for my friend who is staying with me for her vacation. As I turn the corner, there is a woman holding her daughter's dress aside and letting her pee right there in the middle of the aisle. This child is maybe 18 months old, and in most cases would be in diapers. Nope, just the dress and nothing under it. The daughter was finishing as I came around the corner. Mother glared at me and led her child away, leaving me standing there in shock. I let a store employee know, and they sighed and muttered something about, "Oh God, not again." And they called for the maintenance team to clean up the area. What the hell? Alright guys, that's it for today's stories. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. If you enjoyed, drop a like, it really helps me out. And also subscribe to the channel for more. Take care everyone, and until next time.